When you visit Melaka and if you explore every nook and cranny in the city, you will definitely find some mystery. And if you walk around at night, perhaps you will not be wrong to expect to meet someone from the past. Yes, the team and I are still here in mystical Melaka, and in this episode, we are going to explore the haunted islands around Melaka. Behind me is the Straits of Melaka, a busy maritime lane used as a link for trade by the West with the ancient kingdoms of this part of the world since as early as the 16th century. Before that, the neighboring kingdoms of Aceh, Palembang, Siam and China also used this port of call that we know of as Melaka. Even though Melaka is one of the smaller states of Malaysia, it still lays claims to a few islands a few kilometers offshore. To many, these are legendary islands, and to some, they are believed to be cursed, for reasons unclear to many. Pulau Besar, which is the most famous and most written about island, is full of legends. And the jackfruit island or Pulau Nangka became famous because of the search of hidden treasures some 3 years ago. I am not interested in the ones that are widely written of or widely spoken of, but the ones that are more vague, less clear, like Upeh Island, which is a 15-minute boat ride off the Straits of Melaka.
Upeh Island was once known as Ilha das Pedra, which means places of stones in Old Portuguese. It is believed that stones from the island were taken to build the Melaka fort known as A Famosa. The island has been relatively ignored for centuries, but sometime before the second millennium, a resort was built on it. It didn't last long. The resort was soon abandoned for reasons unknown and unpublicized. There were promising plans to turn the abandoned resort into a training center, but that too fell by the wayside. To find out more about this mysterious island, I was recommended by Melaka Museum Corporation or PERSIM to speak with Mr. Norman Mohammed Baruddin, one of its curator who has substantial knowledge on the islands of Melaka.
Encik Norman, do you know about Pulau Upeh, the history and its background?
Pulau Upeh is indeed recorded at the time of the Melaka Sultanate. In terms of the geography, it is located near the town of Melaka, so it's a highly strategic location and has been used as fortification or naval headquarters for the Melaka Sultanate. If you look at the nautical map during the Portuguese era, you can find Pulau Upeh, and this shows the importance of the island at that time. If we conduct a research on the structure of the rocks on Pulau Upeh, we believe that part of the fortress city of Melaka was built from the rocks taken from the island.
I have heard that Pulau Upeh, although it's not very popular and famous, some people have said that it's haunted. Have you heard anything like that?
Looking at the current state of Pulau Upeh, which is abandoned and unoccupied, it is very likely. We do not object such possibilities. We, human beings, are not the only ones who inhabit this world. There are also other creatures and entities. We share the universe with them.
I was told that on Pulau Upeh there are some, it's quite unique because it's actually built. There is a resort on it, but it failed. And then there was another project to be a training center, and it also failed. Is there any folk tale or any stories to explain why?
If we think in terms of logic, we look at Pulau Upeh's location, which is away from the mainland, without proper electricity and water facilities. These are likely the reasons that affected the running of the resort or training centre. Logically. But perhaps, as we discussed earlier, there might be other reasons beyond our comprehension. Perhaps it is inhabited by entities from another realm. I do not exclude that possibility, and I do not deny it.
Yes, I have read that they're very unusual graves because they're extremely long, unusually long. Is there a reason why those two particular graves are so long?
If we look at the old graves that are found in Peninsular Malaysia, or even in Sumatra, and if we examine why these graves are longer than the normal ones, we find that the people who were buried in these long graves were aristocrats or a social class higher than others.
And is it possible that not many people talk about Pulau Upeh, but many people talk about Pulau Besar? Because of that, wouldn't Pulau Besar become more haunted because people keep on increasing the awareness?
Maybe. In Melaka, Pulau Besar is said to be more haunted as compared to other islands. Pulau Besar is a well-known destination for tourists. Thus, the stories of strange incidents on the island are shared by many visitors. And this is why Pulau Besar is considered to be more haunted than other places.
When we come back, we will meet a group of interesting individuals with a unique hobby that is not for the faint-hearted.
I have been told by local folks that if a space like a building or a house is left alone without people for 7 days, unseen beings, energies, spirits will go in and occupy it and take it for their own. Where I am going next has been abandoned for more than 10 years. I'm curious to see who is living there now and how intensely do they occupy that space.
Coming with me to explore Pulau Upeh is a group of enthusiasts who indulge in a hobby which has made them YouTube stars here in Malaysia. They call themselves Mr. Zam Extreme Ghost Hunters. They are a group of amateur ghost hunters who, at their own cost and own risk, visit destinations recommended by their fans. Their investigations are posted on their social network sites.
I'm right now at the jetty at Kampung Gadong in Melaka with Mr. Zam, Extreme Ghost Hunters team. I'm very curious why this 3-member team has devoted so much of their time, especially on weekends, to explore haunted locations. So Mr. Zam, tell me, when did this passion begin?
Saya bermula pada tahun 90-an.
I started in the 90s. I was a street juggler then and also a bit of a magician. After a few years, I was involved in a nasty motor accident and I took a break to recover for a year. When I felt better, I began thinking what else I could do. As I've always had an inclination to extreme and challenging activities, I thought, why not paranormal? There were not many activities related to the paranormal in Malaysia at that time, so I decided to give it a try. I have been to many places. Usually I do some research on stories that I've heard. If someone tells me there is a Pontianak or Pocong somewhere, I will say, really? I know they exist, but I want to explore and uncover the truth. When I started, not many people, me included, owned a camcorder. I didn't know how to share with others what I was doing. But eventually, if I'm not mistaken, in 2005, YouTube went online. It was then that I bought a phone with a camera, which allowed me to record my findings and upload them on YouTube. I began to have many fans. I enjoyed the satisfaction of being able to share my experiences with others.
Whilst Zam is the leader of the team, he always has two members who will accompany him on his escapades. One of them is Rin, who professes to have the third eye ability, and the other is Zan, who usually acts as the cameraman and a healer. Zan also claims to have sensitivity towards the unseen entities.
How do you scan whether something is keras or not?
Okey, macam kaedah saya lebih melalui
Everyone
aura.
has this aura of energy, which I'm still trying to fathom and learn. When I scan, I feel that there is this heat in my hand. Hot, sometimes heavy. I would tell Rin I feel something here. Please take a look.
Semua saya nak cerita kat orang, nak bagi orang rasa tak boleh. Tapi saya yang dapat rasa, so masa saya rasa berat, saya cakap, Rin, okey, dekat sini ada berat, tolong tengok.
Okay, so you use your instinct of feel.
Ya, feel.
And then you use your instinct of sight.
Combine lah.
Do you think that the work you do and what you put up on social media, does it help people?
Dia lebih
I think it
mendekat.
brings people closer together when we share the notion that ghosts and other entities are not to be feared. There are many who harbor this fear to a point that they fall sick. I want to teach the public not to be afraid.
The team is famous for their exploration method that they call terja in Malay, which means gate crashing. This method does not involve any preparations or rituals. They rely solely on their instincts. While their method is spontaneous, safety remains their priority. Whenever possible, they would visit the site during the day to ensure the safe route and pathways to take. Today, they will join me and the Paranormal Zone to Upeh Island. This is Upeh Island, and this is the resort that once hosted tourists who came to enjoy its serenity and to find peace. Today, only the sounds of waves and a sense of emptiness greet us. Completely abandoned, with a deep sense of melancholy, making it more sad than eerie. It is a wonder why such a beautiful island cannot sustain a resort.
This is the water tank that you mentioned that you have, before you came here, you had some kind of a feeling. What was the feeling?
I'm feeling macam ada something yang weird dekat sini.
Before coming here, when you did some of your feeling and your scanning, what did you see?
Waktu saya scan.
When I scan, I find this area quite haunted. What I could see is there is a Pontianak up there. I don't know why it is there, but Pontianak likes to stay in higher spots.
Kat tempat macam ni lah.
Okay. A Pontianak is female ghost that commonly hangs on trees or tall or high areas. When she does her scanning, she has seen that there is a Pontianak that exists here. But unfortunately, they appear only at night, which is why we will be back after we do a quick walk around here.
Today, no one visits Upeh Island for her beauty and serenity, except for some marine biologists who come to check on the Hawksbill Turtles that have made the island their port of call. There are also a few punters who visit the island regularly to ask for lottery numbers or to improve their luck in the gaming world. And of course, regular anglers who use the jetty to fish.
Despite being abandoned for more than 10 years, this particular shrine is very well maintained. It just shows that there are people, maybe not every day, but definitely most often, coming here to pay respects. And I've been told, asking for good luck and prosperity. Many people who gamble and buy lottery numbers, they come here to ask for blessings so that they can strike it rich. Personally, for me, I don't know if that is accurate. But if it works and it keeps some parts clean on this island, then so be it.
Kalau betul kau ada bunyikan sekali lagi.
Tadi kat sini saya nampak macam ada perempuan gantung diri. Kat sini tapi di pandangan bawah lah.
For the local people, they have their own explanations about why the resort and other endeavours set there were unsuccessful.
Pulau Upeh tu, tempat tu memang
Pulau Upeh has always had interferences. When I sleep there at night, I'm always being shifted. For example, there was once when I was sleeping under a tree, but I woke up about 10 meters away from that tree.
dialih lebih kurang dalam dekat 10 meter daripada tempat saya tidur tu, dialihkan. Kemungkinan
Maybe I was occupying its resting spot. I was totally unaware of being shifted.
dia tahu-tahu dia letakkan di bawah pokok yang lain. Nama yang penjaga
There's a myth, as I was told by my elders, that Pulau Upeh has a guardian named Pak Agus. The state government carried out projects to develop the island, but they weren't successful. Possibly the requests of Pak Agus were not met. So anyone who attempts to develop the island will likely fail.
nak membangunkan tempat tu mungkin tak dapat. Kawasan yang paling
The most haunted place of all is the area above the water tank.
tangki air ke?
Once, while we were walking in that area, we saw an old man standing next to a tree, which was unusual. Out of respect, we informed him that we were just passing by and had no intention of causing any disturbance. He disappeared after that.
Tumpang lalu. Lepas tu dia hilang. Yang macam mak saudara tu pernah.
My aunt once picked up a 1-cent coin at the island
Cuma satu sen
and took it home to keep as a souvenir.
pun mak saudara saya
But she fell sick,
kenang-kenangan.
and her sickness lasted 3 months.
Dia kena sakit sampai 3 bulan. Tak baik. Pergi bomo sana.
We
pergi
sought different treatments, visited many hospitals, and consulted quite a number of doctors to no avail. Then we were advised that my aunt should return the item that was taken from the island.
pulangkan barang yang dia ambil di pulau. Habis masa tu saya dengan mak saudara saya memang ramailah keluarga kali pergi. Memang saya ingatlah mak saudara ada ambil duit. Cuma 1 sen duit.
Once we did that, she immediately regained consciousness and was able to communicate with us.
Tak air duit kat situ. Serta-merta dia boleh bercakap.
I'm very curious, which is why we're here, to see who's occupying this island now and how intensely are they occupying it. So, are we ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay. Do you feel anything right now?
Sekarang
Right now, I have a weird and uneasy feeling. I feel hot and a little dizzy, like we are being watched.
macam ada sedang memerhati kita.
So, could you please share with me what's going on for you?
Tadi kat sini
I have a vision of a lady who hanged herself here, and she was facing down, and I could feel there is a pocong further over there.
Let's say no more and check it out.
sini.
It's right here,
Dia dekat sekitar.
around this area. The rope is long, hanging all the way down. It is white in color.
As we continued to explore, more than meets the eye. Despite not capturing anything visually, Rin picks up some unseen presence, and physically she feels the effects.
Boleh? Apa dia?
Sakit kepala.
Sekarang?
Biasalah kalau berada di satu kawasan yang memang ada benda tu, Rin akan rasa pening lah. Walaupun Rin tak nampak benda tu ada kat depan Rin, tapi akan rasa pening. Sebab kadang kalau kejap dia buka, kadang Rin tak nampak benda tu, tapi cuma akan rasa sakit kepala.
Dia orang kata ni restoran.
Restoran lah.
Restoran kan? Jom. Kalau betul kau ada, bunyikan sekali lagi. Gerakkan sesuatu atau bunyikan sesuatu. Real? Kan? Tak?
Ya.
Dan ada bau wangi ni. Jangan bau wangi tak sekarang? Saya bau wangi tau. Kan? Kita scan kat sini. Off lampu tu. Rin, off lampu. Oh, betul-betul. Jom. So kita dapat tadi ada dua bunyi kan?
There are times I will go to a place because it is known to be haunted, to investigate, to explore and discover. Tonight when I arrived in Upeh Island, it was because I've heard some things that it is haunted, but I also heard that many things that have happened here are unsuccessful. And it made me think. And as I walked around this beautiful place, I had a feeling that perhaps it is not as much haunted as it is cursed. Perhaps the people who first developed on this island didn't do what was necessary to appease the beings or the residences who were here first. As such, it offended them, and as such, the results are nothing can be successful here. So there is a time when I think, is the place cursed or haunted? And from what I can feel here, I get an experience that the energy here is more cursed than it is haunted.